Australia, southern continent set in 3 oceans. Victoria, southeastern state in the Commonwealth. Melbourne, capital of Victoria on the River Yarra at the head of Port Phillip. Port of Melbourne. From Breakwater Pier to Spencer Street Bridge, from Williamstown to the heart of the city, the domain of the Harbour Trust. 10 square miles, 12 miles of wharves to receive and deliver the goods of the world.
Hello, Dockhead.
Good morning, Tim.
Here's an entry for your log. Milos passing me now. Breakwater, 0900. On the dot. Milos, entered river 0900. Pilot, tug, berth. Hello, Dockhead. The Milos. Yes, in 3/4 of an hour, she's just entered the river. Yes, madam, number 16 Victoria Dock. Yes, madam, from Japan. No, madam, I don't know the name of the chief engineer. Thank you, madam. Hello, Dockhead. The Chan Para, she's due to sail sometime tomorrow afternoon. If you ring again tomorrow, I'll be able to let you know. No, better leave it until lunchtime. I'll give you more definite information then. Phones. And it's even worse when a migrant ship comes in. Weather, light southerly, cloudy and fine. Been like this for a week now. Tide 2 feet 2 on. Not like the River Clyde. Oh, crikey. Hello, Dockhead.
Oh, Tunnel here. Have the Blue Star on the other line. The Imperial Star is ready to sail from Beaver to Appleton. What time does the Milos enter? Okay.
I'll tell them to be ready about 1000.
Let the tug and pilot's office know, will you? Oh, Tunnel here again. Are you there? Yes, the Milos will be passing you at about 1000, and you can get underway then. Okay? Thank you. Tunnel here. The Argyle's here due next week. I see she has an 80-ton transformer and other heavy machinery amongst her general cargo. 1 moment, please. I think we'll place her at B-berth Appleton, and I'd suggest swinging and placing her starboard side too. Let me know when you get a firm ETA, will you? Thank you. Cheers.
BL3HO, towage. This is Tug Vigorous, over.
Vigorous, this is towage.
The crane has 1 lift to go. Where's the discharge berth, please? Over.
10 Victoria Dock.
Until the cocks and the trucks are there now, over.
G'day. Is the meal all secured yet?
Yes, she's all secure, Captain, and I'm on my way up to 27 South to check the labour up there.
Good.
Every 90 minutes, day and night, week in and week out, a ship arrives or departs. Still, it's a fair indication of a thriving community. There's a lot of organisation behind a ship coming into port. She can't just park at any empty berth, but has to go to the right place for her cargo. Then there's the mobile equipment to be ordered. The cranes and the cargo lifting gear, the front-end loaders, straddle trucks, and forklifts, of course. All to be ordered in advance and ready on call when needed. There's the labour, for you'll still need men, no matter how mechanized the handling is. The crane drivers, the dockmen, the boatmen, the stevedores, the drivers. Oh, not forgetting the wharf labourers. And the transport to bring products in for export or to take away the imports. The semi-trailers from all over the place. The railway trucks from the marshalling yards just across the way. You can't have them turning up late and delaying a ship. In short, it's got to be planned and organised all the way down the line. Good transit sheds, the bigger the better, to hold the millions of tons of goods that pass across these wharves.
G'day, Bill.
Hello, Captain.
How long are you going to be working here?
Just the routine inspection of the piles. Two of these will need replacing. We'll be out of here tonight.
Everything okay here, Bill?
Yes, Dick. Everything's okay here. I'm on my way now.
Melbourne Harbour Trust was formed by Act of Parliament in 1877. The town was set on a shallow, silted river and badly needed better port facilities in those days of the boom. One of the first jobs of the new trust was to employ an eminent English engineer to come to the colony and design a harbour. As a result, the course of the Yarra was diverted and shortened, and the West Melbourne swamp excavated to provide a fine deep-water dock at the foot of the city and right beside Victoria's main railway terminal. The port is held in trust for the people of Victoria, to whom it belongs. And the aim of the commissioners is ever to improve the port, extend its facilities, and use their best efforts to increase commerce between Melbourne and the world outside Port Phillip Heads, as was laid down in the original charter.
Report from the Treasurer. Statement showing capital expenditure incurred in the provision of berthage accommodation in the Port of Melbourne. Total capital expenditure, £25,770,099.
Statement received.
The destiny of the port is in the hands of 6 men, responsible only to the exacting demands of international trade, comprising a permanent chairman and 5 part-time commissioners who have specialized knowledge of the requirements of the ship owners, importers and exporters, the primary producers, and of all aspects of port labor.
Gentlemen, the next subject for consideration is the future development of the port. With the first stage of Appleton Dock now in successful operation, it is necessary for us to plan for the future long-term development. Our present development works cover the port for the next 10 to 15 years, but the plans which are being presented for your consideration now are to cover the 1980s and the 1990s. Our officers have been reviewing the entire port area and have prepared alternative plans for development in the river entrance area and in the upper reaches of the port. I think at this stage I would like to have your views on what should be our ultimate proposal.
Having seen the plans, Mr. Chairman, we'd like to have a little more time to consider the proposition.
Certainly, we can defer discussion until the conclusion of general business. In the meantime, can we proceed with the next item on the agenda?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. From the Controller of Stores, reporting that a number of articles was found at Station Pier and recommending that the watch, estimated to be...
As night falls, the present wealth stored away in transit sheds or waiting in ships' holds is guarded on the wharves. And some work a twilight shift to speed the turnaround. Ships come from the world over, flying their proud flags. They unload their precious burdens for our needs and pleasure, stock their deep holds with our offerings in return, then glide away again across the oceans of the world. Tied up, the ship costs money. Only when traveling does she earn. The time she lies in port is the turnaround. This must be kept short. To speed the turnaround, a progressive port will mechanise. Here, a special berth for phosphatic rock in the port which serves its farmers. Carried from a Pacific island, pulverized to dust, scattered on Australian soil to increase her crops and pastures, to improve her food production and her exports again. Through the port of Melbourne, special berth for the vehicle ferry. 3 trips weekly to Tasmania and back for the tourists or the transports. Through the port of Melbourne. A special berth for petroleum products. Crude oil, motor spirit, kerosene, diesel oil for a motor-minded country. Through the port of Melbourne. A special berth for timber. Lumber, palings, billets, balks, planks, posts, beams. Millions and millions of super feet of forest trees. Through the port of Melbourne. And steel, a special berth. Where the clangor of perpetual unloading is the start of our railways and bridges, dams and skyscrapers, zippers, buttons, needles, pins, sinks or trays or washing machines.
This job used to take a heap of extra time and energy before they built the new berth and sheds. Now it goes like clockwork. Since 21 South came into operation, 4 berths which were used almost full-time for steel have been freed for handling other cargoes. It's not bad when you think of it. And with the arrangement of bridge cranes inside the transit shed, you can even load one hold while you unload another at the same time.
Good day there. How's it going?
Oh, not bad. Can't complain, you know. 5 first aid vans, and we answer roughly 10,000 calls in a year.
VL3HO, Fox 5.
Uh-oh, that's me. Watchroom, this is Fox 5.
Proceed to 16 South Wharf. Car in river. Urgent. Over.
Wilco, out. An accident like this brings out the whole works of the Emergency and Safety Service. The Frogmen are volunteers with other jobs in the Harbour Trust. They get ready in the tent on the way down. Then the lifelines have to be fixed. Back in watchroom, the boys will be on the alert at the radio to order the civil ambulance, if need be, after I've done what I can. In with the guideline. And down into the brig. Then the frogmen have to surface to get the air out of their diving suits. I tell you, the emergency and safety service has to be ready for anything. Fire, flood, accident, sickness, a fouled mooring line, anything at all.
The Yarra drops its burden of silt carelessly at the river entrance. The tide here, 37 miles from the ocean, isn't strong enough to cut it away.
Get ready for a fix.
Surveyors are kept busy taking soundings and marking up their charts.
Fixed.
Their work indicates where dredging is needed, as the Port Authority guarantees 37 feet of water in its approach channels shown on Admiralty charts throughout the world. Lights to mark the channels have to be kept in trim too. There's plenty of work in a river port like this.
Close to the hour, Jack. Switch on for radio check.
Just coming on, Mr. Dickinson. The third one's alongside us. Over.
BL380, towage, this is the JP Webb.
JP Webb, this is towage. Over.
Could I have a traffic check, please? Over.
Wilco. The Eastern Glory will enter the river at 1600. When she gets up, the Chanpara will leave at about 1700. Over.
Roger, out.
Towage, this is Superintendent Dredging.
Dredging Superintendent, this is Towage.
Towage, have you got a tug available to tow a loaded barge from the A.D. Mackenzie to the dump?
The Vigorous at 1430. Over.
Did you hear that, A.D. Mackenzie? Tell the coxswain of the barge that on his return from the dump, he will be taken direct to the Bass Trader berth to load at number 29, Priestman's Grab Dredger.
Yes, I got that message. We'll pass it on. Who will be carrying out?
The unremitting work of dredging is a 24-hour-a-day job to open the port to the biggest ships.
Jeff, the Oriana has burst at Outer West Station Pier and the Kirribilli at 29 South Wharf. The City of Melbourne has burst at 24 Victoria Dock and she has 3 twilight gangs waiting. And the Chanpara is ready to sail at 1700.
Well, that's now. She should be getting underway.
Guard the port and the wealth which passes through it, to maintain its channels and lights, its wharves and transit sheds, to plan for the future in keeping with the growth of Melbourne town, to welcome the ships of the world and send them on their way again. This is the story of the Port of Melbourne.